Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Tonight we've got a late night insight video, quick hit video if you will, on a house I've never talked about before. Actually, I've never even heard of before until Eddie, I believe it was Eddie, very kindly sent me this decant. And so I've had a chance to wear it once before, and this is my second time kind of wearing it before bed kind of thing. And so I figured I would do a video on it. The house is called Source Adage. Have you guys ever heard of this house? I never, ever have. So basically coming in completely clean slate as far as what I know about the house. There's a little blurb about the fragrance on the back. There's the name right there. C''I''AAN. It's pronounced Keon. And there's a little blurb about it and the notes if you want to pause that and read it, but I'll read it later on. And so that's kind of what their logo looks like right there. Apparently they're a very small house because I looked up their YouTube channel. They do have a YouTube channel and they have all of 5 people subscribed to it. So they're extremely under the radar. So let me read a little bit about the house. I do love, if you know me, you know that I do love getting to know these new houses, and sometimes the very first one to test is the most important for me because it really tells me whether I think the house is worth continuing on, getting more samples or testing more from the house or whatever it may be, because it's not just a representation of the fragrance itself, it's a representation of the house, the quality, how they do their blurbs, how the perfumes are composed, how they transition, and all that good stuff. So I use it kind of as a guide stone, whether I want to continue and learn more about this house. Because again, time is valuable, right? And so this one, let me read you a little bit about just from their website. Our story is what it says. And there's a quote. There's actually 2 quotes we're going to discuss on the About Us page. But the first one is from the Palm Beach Resort. And it says, sublime, swoon-worthy scents. Source Adage fragrances launched in historic and trendy Hudson, New York in 2015, founded by creative directors Christopher Draghi and Robert Dubay. The duo set the stage for their bold new fragrance collections in their re-envisioned 1830s Greek revival house on Hudson's famed Warren Street. The striking dark exterior and curated interior design communicated the brand's signature style and distinctive point of view from the onset. In more than 7 years since Source Adage's debut, Christopher and Robert's passion for fragrances has grown just as their unique product offerings have. Complex, gender-inclusive fine fragrances that align to the brand's destination-inspired themes further defines Source Adage as a true fragrance lover's brand. Evocative scent compositions, uncompromising quality, and sophisticated packaging design has become a trademark of the brand and an exception of a loyal client base, press, and industry followers alike. Capitalizing on this successful first chapter in New York, Christopher and Robert decided to write an exciting next one in a sublime location, Italy. A long-time plan was revitalized with returning to Italy, where years previous they first dreamed up their fragrance brand. Their new location, a quiet seaside village overlooking the Mediterranean, is the home to a new studio showroom where they'll continue their journey, quote-unquote, work, on fragrances and welcome clients in a more intimate setting. With the move, Christopher and Robert are able to work alongside of local artisans to produce and bottle the brand's coveted scents to the European market. They have a rich catalog to reintroduce to a new audience and new debuts ready to join the impressive collections. And it isn't hard to envision how the Italian countryside may soon filter into future scents in this next exciting chapter. Okay, I'm going to skip the next quote for now because we'll come back to it. But just a little blurb about how this scent feels wearing it. So first of all, it opens up extremely furry, but not furry like animal skin, but furry like the tree, okay? Like balsam firs. Like imagine Douglas firs, balsam fir, fir balsam absolute. I mean, any fir you can imagine, throw it in the pot, and it's in here. Basically, throw all the different types of firs, Christmas trees. You know, imagine the smell of evergreens, Christmas trees, and firs, Douglas firs. And that's kind of what you get in the opening. It smells extremely overdosed, okay? It is almost headache inducing when you first smell, with just how green and overdosed of firs and evergreens it smells like. So along with that fir note, the note everyone else instantly picks up on would be the spearmint. There's no doubt about it. Spearmint is front and center. It is loud and instantly smells like there is a clash going on in the fragrance, like that extremely overdosed balsam fir note mixes with that spearmint note, and there's a big clash. It doesn't smell harmonious. It doesn't smell like the notes are getting along with one another. It smells like the notes are arguing. It smells like the notes are fighting, jockeying for position, you know, and there's a clash. And to my nose, it clashes hard. And I understand what they were going for. So if you have ever stood in a forest where it's very, very cold, you will get this almost minty feel to the freshness of the air, like the trees somehow disinfect the air, and you get this extreme freshness that can almost smell minty, you know? And when you blend that smell of the let's say evergreen or fir trees with the very cold air, whenever you inhale, there's almost this disinfectant quality to the air that gives it this minty feel. And I understand what they were going for completely. They say that the name is from the Atna language, which is a native Alaskan tribe from southern Alaska, actually, which means new moon. So this name right here, Kian, is apparently means new moon in Atna. And interestingly enough, I had to look it up. I was like, how many people speak Atna and what is it? Well, apparently there's like 500 people in the world that speak Atna, and that's it. So we're talking a very obscure language. And so the blurb describes this fragrance as both warm woodlands and fresh accord. So if you read the blurb, it says, it says warm woodlands and fresh Arctic accords, and that's pretty much it. The problem is that it just seems, again, unbalanced to my nose. It just seems like it's not very harmonious. And there's really only one review of this on YouTube. Sebastian from the Perfume Guy channel did a review, and he did say this is his favorite from the brand, which worries me a little bit. So let's go on to the second quote, because there's a second quote on the website from a very well-known YouTuber, not named Sebastian. It's actually Redolescence, and they quote it as Redolescence Review. It says, "What caught my fancy is just how original this brand's fragrances are. You can smell the quality of the raw ingredients," end quote. I actually thought exactly the opposite, to be honest with you. This smell kind of reminded, you know what this reminded me of? It reminds me of a vetiver soap that I used to buy from Bath and Body Works in like a shower soap for men. Not a bar, but the liquid soap that you would put on a loofah or whatever. And the Bath and Body Works soap was like vetiver soap. And on the front of the packaging, this was like 10 years ago. They don't make it anymore. But on the front of the packaging, there was like these trees, you know, evergreen trees, very similar imagery, if you will. And the smell is actually very similar. The smell is very, very similar. It was, maybe I'm being harsh. I mean, maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on the brand. I did wear Adage Ladore's Baikal Gris today, and there's some Russian balsam firs in this. And so I have it on the top of my hand. And then on my wrist, I have Source Adage Kion. And, you know, I know it's not fair putting this up against an Adage Ladore. I think one of the greatest brands a perfume lover can try. This There is one part about this fragrance, though, that kind of made me pause. There's one thing that made me kind of stop for a second and go, wait a minute, what is that? And with interest, dig a little bit deeper. In the first 10 to 15 seconds, you will get this fruity smell. And the fruity smell made me think that I was maybe smelling mango. If you've ever smelled this, sorry for the fingerprints. I'm very embarrassed about that. I should do better. Apologies. I should do better when it comes to fingerprints. Okay, so if you've ever smelled this, this is Kenzo Jungle L'Elephant. And two of my favorite perfumers of all time made this. Jean-Louis Suizac and Dominique Ropion. And this is a fragrance that's targeted for women, but it's completely unisex to my nose, but it has this amazing mango accord mixed with amber and lots of other notes. But that mango-amber combination, I thought I was smelling when I smelled this for the very first time, and I got this almost like this flash bulb of the amber that was, or the mango that was used in Kenzo Jungle L'Elephant. And then it turned, 10, 15 seconds in, and you start to get that apple accord. Remember, there's no apple essential oil. The perfumer has to make that apple accord from something. And so maybe they did use some mango, I don't know. I don't know the ingredients used. I'm not a perfumer. All I know is that was the only thing about this scent, I would say, that kind of gave me a pause. The slightest moment. And, I like to sniff the fragrance before I actually look at the notes. And so before I knew it was apple, I was just curious. What is this fruitiness that's coming through? Is it blackcurrant? Is it mango? And it turned out to be apple. So, okay, that was kind of the most interesting part of this fragrance for me. And the dry down just basically gets pedantic and boring, to be quite honest with you. It just kind of goes into this, amber, which does tend to smooth things out. That unbalanced overdose of different notes in the beginning that tend to clash. Once the amber comes in, it does kind of feel like it smooths things out a little bit, but it goes from maybe overdosed and slightly interesting to more balanced but boring. So I guess pick your poison if you want an unbalanced or a boring fragrance. I don't know. So that brings me to my final point. So consequently, after saying all of this, there is one thing that really bothers me about this. And that's that if you continue to scroll down past the Redolescence review on their About Us page, there is a blurb, another blurb. We get to blurb number 2. And blurb number 2 says, each of the fragrances are created initially in-house from the brand's library of raw ingredients. We revel in the fun part of blending raw ingredients and creating fragrances from what inspires us to convey the narrative of the fragrance, says founder Christopher Draghi. But the real magic happens in the development stage, where the brand's formulas will be tested, edited, and produced to exacting industry standards of sustainability and quality with master perfumers at renowned fragrance houses. It's a long journey to produce a shelf-worthy fragrance, but it brings immense satisfaction to Christopher and Robert to see the final result. This unique, involved process ensures the integrity and uniqueness of their sophisticated scents. Okay, so you just shouted out master perfumers. So this is the greatest annoyance out of all of this, The fragrance I can forgive. It's one fragrance, whatever. I would probably be interested in testing more from the house. Even though I was disappointed in this, I would give it another chance, okay? I'm a forgiving guy. However, how are you going to shout out that you work with master perfumers, and then you don't list any perfumers on the website? You don't list the name of any of the perfumers. You don't disclose who the perfumer is. It's not mentioned that this perfumer did this work. It's just, we blend raw ingredients in-house, but then they're taken to a master perfumer to create, but the master perfumer gets no love. I don't understand that at all. I would love to know who made this. I would love for them to put their name on it, and I would love for them to be celebrated. That bothers me. I don't like that at all. You know, it's one thing to play uh, the game where you pretend to be the perfumer, but you don't really say who the perfumer is, or you know, it's another thing. And I'm not saying this house does this, but you know, there are different strategies at play with some of these houses. There are houses out there, unfortunately, nowadays where the founder of the house claims they're the perfumer and everyone knows they're not. And there are other houses that just straight up ignore the issue, like Tom Ford for the longest time never disclosed the perfumers. You know, and only the most uninformed people thought you know, there were people out there that thought Tom Ford was the perfumer. Hey, it's Tom Ford. He must be the perfumer. It says his name on the bottle, right? And so, you know, there's different levels of, I would say, mischief when it comes to this disclosing the perfumer thing. And I'm willing to let a lot of that stuff slide. But when you literally name drop that you work with master perfumers, who is it? Who are these master perfumers? I want to know now, you know, and that bothered me. So that was a big annoyance. So consequently, I don't know if I will continue to check out more from the brand. If another generous soul, I guess, sends me another decant from the brand, obviously I didn't pay for this. This was very kindly sent to me. I will talk about it on the channel just so information is out there. I'm all about putting information out there. You know, I'm all about full disclosure and putting information out there. And so I know that these type of individual reviews won't get very many clicks. They never do. They always get, you know, 20% of the views of the lists, and not a top 10 and perfumers portfolio and all this stuff. But I think it's important, especially for a fragrance like this, where I'm never going to have this in my collection. I'm never going to have a bottle of this. I mean, unless someone gifts me a bottle, I'm never going to have a bottle of this. And so this is kind of my one chance to put my thoughts out there into the FragCom. And who knows, maybe someone one day will come along and this review will be helpful to them. Or maybe the brand founders will see this and take a drastic change to how they're marketing the fragrances with their master perfumers, and maybe take that Red Essence quote out. So, other than that, that is my review on Kion. If you've tried this house from source Adage, do let me know. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you ever heard of it, I never have until I tried it basically now. And so have you ever tried Kion? Are you interested in trying the brand? What do you think about what I'm saying about the brand? Do you think I'm being too harsh? Do you agree with what I'm saying? I'd love to see your faces in the comments as always. I learn more than you guys do. I learn more from you than you do from me. So do leave a comment. It's always helpful. Plus, I love the interaction. And, you know, do the usual likes and subscriptions and all the stuff I'm supposed to say as a YouTuber. So appreciate everyone watching. Cheers, guys. And I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.